getting really professional with these. I love that song. Thought it was perfect. So anyhow, welcome back to my channel. Select like in the corner. Subscribe to my channel. Okay, here we go. Part 3, final part. All right, so anyhow, Herbert's dead. Yeah. So, fun fact. So this was published in 1902. And in 1902, a group of women's textile workers presented a request to Parliament demanding votes for women. But, I just, neither here nor there, but we talked about, Mrs. White's character and kind of stereotypes, these literary motifs. And we have this interesting fact. So, with that being said, anyhow, you go to the funeral, you flash forward it again. Sad times. So a house steeped in shadow and silence. Well, no happy Herbert's there. And wow, yeah, they weren't expecting that. So they remained in a state of expectation as though of something else to happen, something else which was to lighten the load too heavy for old hearts to bear. It's pretty sad. I mean, their son has passed away, and, that's a hard thing to accept. So expectation gave way to resignation, the hopeless resignation of the old, sometimes miscalled apathy. So I believe that we had these two as words that I had put on your vocab list. They're good words to use. And if you resign, that is a high academic word for like quit. So resignation is like your formal quitting of something. So, they're giving up. Apathy means you don't care. So it's not that they didn't care. They just, they were sad. They missed their son. So their days were long to weariness. They had nothing to talk about. Herbert, they miss him. He kept them together, no matter how unhappy they may have seemed. I mean, wow. I bet he's really wanting to play a chess game with him now. I don't think he'd get as upset. Right, Mr. White? So, anyhow, again, jumping around in time, you have another flash forward. And so, subdued weeping. So, it's like subdued. It's a little quiet. Then he wakes up. Come back, he said tenderly. You will be cold. Oh, so lovingly, tenderly. It's colder for my son. Yeeks. Very sad, but yes. She wept again. Remember their relationship. Herbert was her everything. So she's taking this a lot harder than Mr. White. So the sounds of her sobs died away on his ears. The bed was warm and his eyes heavy with sleep. He dozed fitfully and then slept until a sudden... He went back to sleep and didn't even go and hug her? I mean, really? Wow, Mr. White is not exactly, he's not a great husband. No, not. So anyhow, he woke up because, she cries. Well, you should have gone and comforted her because, she needed some help. And, now she's, really starting to fall apart. And, but not very loving. So anyhow, the paw, she cries. And, well, that woke him up. So, you've not destroyed it. Do you know what she's thinking? So, do you think she wants them to get the paw? I mean, they do have a couple of wishes left. It's in the parlor on the bracket. Fancy same shelf. Marveling. Why do you want it? Well, gosh, she's just really not smart. She cried and laughed together and bended over and kissed his cheek. So she's really, having quite the mental state right now. So I just thought of it, she said hysterically. Oh, interesting fact. We had this on our vocab list. You think of hysterical and you think, oh, funny, because we misuse this word all the time. But hysterical, it doesn't mean funny. So Why didn't I think of it before? So think of what? So the other 2 wishes, was that not enough? No. Well, we'll have one more. Go down and get it quickly and wish our boy alive. Good God, you were mad. A little disgusted. Get it, she panted. My boy, my boy. Struck a match and lit a candle. No electricity, it's 1902. Get back to bed, he said. You don't know what you're saying. We had the first wish granted, said the old woman feverishly. Why not the second? A coincidence, stammered the old man. So he's like, stammered is another word for he's not speaking very clearly, kind of stuttering, I'd imagine. It's not coming out quite right. Go and get it and wish, cried the wife, quivering with excitement. He's been dead, and besides, I would not tell you about... I could only recognize him by his clothing. If he was too terrible for you to see then, how... Zombie Herbert, Pet Cemetery. Yes, it's spelled with an S because that's the book that Stephen King wrote. Great book. They made a movie in the 90s. There's another movie coming out. I'm telling you, you need to read Stephen King if you like this scary stuff. Bring him back! She drags him towards the door. So, do you think I fear the child I've nursed? He's a zombie man. He went down in the darkness. The talisman was in its place. Magic piece. Horrible fear that the unspoken wish might bring his mutilated son before him ere he could escape. Remember the word hark. Hark means here. This is an old expression as well. It means before in time. So kind of repetitive. You've already used before there, but that's just a way that people would speak. And, we really, you don't speak that way any longer, which is one of the reasons why this piece is so hard to understand. So, his brow was cold with sweat. And he found he was in the passage. So he goes down, he groped along the wall. I really can't see the unwholesome thing in his hand. So, I'm imagining that, this is a very telltale heart kind of house, creaky stairs and, no electricity and how just not the modern amenities that we're used to. So he comes back, he has the paw, and she's like, all the blood is drained from her face. And she has this unnatural look upon it, and he's afraid, well, she was a little mean to him. But, obviously she's not herself right now. So, wish, she cried in a strong voice. It's foolish and wicked, he faltered, hesitant, unsteady. Wish, repeated his wife. I wish my son alive again. He hasn't decided on anything himself. Every wish he's made, someone has told him. But anyhow, here you go. So, it falls to the floor. Chilled with cold, glancing occasionally, the old woman peered through the window, candle end, which had burned below the rim of the china candlestick. Shadows on the ceilings and walls flicker larger than the typical setting of a scary story, right? So they go and they sit and they're like, maybe it was just a coincidence about the other. They don't spoke. I kind of feel sorry for them in this part, they really would, love to have their son back. So it is kind of sad at the same time. So again, here you have that typical setting. Ticking of the clock, a stair creaked, a squeaky mouse scurried noisily through the wall. I totally remember the noises and the telltale heart here. The darkness was oppressive. Very, very similar to the way that Poe approached his story as far as description. So anyhow, screwing up, he took the box of matches. So he decides to go back downstairs to get another candle. And one went out, the foot of the stairs. Of course it did. Pause, strike another. The rules of scary stories and films, you never separate in a scary scenario. He's separating. What is he thinking? So he hears a knock. So quiet and stealthy. You can barely hear it. Sneaky. As to be scarcely audible. Audible, high English for just able to be heard. So we have the root odd. I believe we mentioned that before. The matches fell from his hand, spilled in the passage. He stood motionless, his breath suspended. Oh, he's scared to death right now. Oh my gosh. Herbert's there. What's that? Cried the old woman, starting up. Who da? A rat, said the old man in shaking tones. A rat? It's me on the stairs? Yeah, he doesn't want her to get any kookier because, when Herbert was there, it's 2 against 1, and she's scary enough. And now Herbert's a zombie. This is not going to end well for him. So, and now a loud knock resounded throughout the house. So it's all throughout. These are older houses. They don't have they're not built in the same way that we have homes built today. Insulation makes them creaky and noisy, lack of insulation rather. So it's Herbert. No, getting scary here. So, what are you going to do? It's my boy. I forgot it was 2 miles. Oh, the cemetery. Oh, this is just really creepy here. So, for God's sake, don't let it. Wait a second. Even if he's a zombie, he's not an it. It's their son. So, you're afraid of your own son? Let me go. I'm coming, Herbert. I'm coming. Grab her anti-macassar and, oh, Herbert, I'm so happy to see you. There was a knock and another. The old woman with a sudden wrench broke free and ran from the room. Her husband followed to the landing and called after her appealingly as she hurried downstairs. He heard the chain rattle back and the bottom bolt drawn slowly and stiffly from the socket. Then the old woman's voice strained and panted. So, wow, I gotta get this video finished before I run out. So, let's go ahead and I want to show you a picture. So they don't have doorbells, but you probably would have had one of these things on your door. Now, it's in winter. Do you guys remember from the first part when the story was saying that the wind was blowing and different things? So here's my take on it. There's a door knocker. Take that as you will. Moving on. So she has this old heavy door. It's bolted and she's trying to get it open. And, Mr. White is, totally afraid of, what's to come. And, honestly, you can't, blame him. I mean, some people say that there's not such thing as coincidences, but maybe it really is a coincidence that, the way that this has happened. So she opens the door. She's, can't reach the bolt. So he comes down and he's like, heck no, I am not opening that door. So he's like groping wildly. So he's like searching on the ground, trying to find the paw. And as that, a perfect fusillade of knocks reverberated through the house. It's a series of shots, missiles thrown in the fusillade. Okay, so it's like, so they had just been hearing. And now it's lots of banging. And he heard the scraping of a chair. And she's putting the chair. She's not waiting for him. And she has the bolt. It's creaking. It slowly came back. And at the same time, he found the monkey's paw. And he breathed his third and last wish. So this is when we, as the reader, are yelling, "Stop! Don't open the door!" At this point, we're thinking it's Herbert. Who knows what's going to happen? And then you have this, anticlimactic, moment where the door opens and a cold wind rushes upstairs. A long, loud wail of disappointment. That's probably Mrs. White. Oh, I feel so sorry for her. She really was hoping it was her son. And misery from his wife gave him courage to run down to her side. Well, good. I'm glad that he's finally going down there and being nice to her. And then to the gate. The street lamp flickered opposite, shone on a quiet and deserted road. So it's the perfect ending to a scary story. So that, my friends, is the ending of our video. So I will lead out with my mood music and we'll see how this goes. I will be checking notebooks. Please make sure that you're entering the information that I've discussed. And make sure to leave me any questions, email me, or write them here on the video or in Google Classroom. Please make sure that you have your plot chart finished. I will be grading that when we return. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your break.